Hi everybody, this is Lindsay from Winding Road Crochet, and today in this pattern guide I'm going to show you how to do the tapestry single crochet stitch as well as how to add the handles to this dinosaur basket. Now here I have finished up row 12, and the last row, row 11 and row 12, I have worked the tapestry single crochet stitch. And then at the bottom of the basket I have been working just a regular single crochet stitch. And if you look at a regular single crochet stitch, one thing you will notice is that the stitches do not sit directly on top of each other. They actually sit kind of in between the two stitches below it. And the reason that happens is because when we work our stitch, we go into this space right here, pull up a loop, complete your single crochet, and you will notice that we are off to the side. We're actually making a single crochet in between two single crochet of the previous row. And then when you start doing a graph this way, it's going to leave you with a really sloppy graph. It's not going to look as good. Especially smaller graphs are not going to look as clean as if we were doing the tapestry single crochet. So if you look over here where I've done 2 rows of the tapestry single crochet, you can see that my stitches are sitting directly on top of each other, and that is what we are aiming for. So let me show you how to do tapestry single crochet. The first thing to know is we are going to be working into the back loop only. So I'm going to push my hook into the back loop. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And then the only thing that makes this different than a single crochet in the back loop only is now we are going to do what they call yarn under. So coming under the hook and then over the hook, we're going to yarn under and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. Let's do that again. Going back through that back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn under. And this just pulls that loop over, pulls that stitch over so that it sits directly over the stitch of the previous row. So if I pull these out, you can see that these 2 are sitting directly on top of each other. And that is all you have to do for your tapestry single crochet. Another very important thing to know about the tapestry single crochet is that it only works when you are working in continuous rounds. You can't do it on a flat piece. So let's go ahead and look at this when we are working with 2 colors. So I am going to do my next tapestry single crochet, and before I do my yarn under, I'm going to grab a new color and yarn under with that new color. And this is how I'm going to change my color. Pull it through the 2 loops, and now we have our color change. So then when I start to do my orange stitches, I want to make sure that I'm using and crocheting over that gray yarn. That will keep it nice and hidden. Pull up a loop, yarn under, pull through the 2 loops, and that will give us a nice clean color change. And then of course we'll keep working our orange until the pattern tells us to change back to gray. If I need to change to gray now, I would just yarn under with that gray and change colors. And then something to know is that the yarns, as you are crocheting over the other color, you will get them twisted. I typically go about a row's time and then I stop and untwist my 2 skeins. If you don't twist them, if you find a creative way to keep them from getting twisted, I often find that what ends up happening is that you have some of that other color peeking through. So I just found that letting them get twisted is the best way to work with the yarn, and then every row or so you just want to stop and untwist your yarn. But that's what your color changes will look like. So after working several more rows, you can really get a good look at how much the tapestry single crochet stitch makes us have a beautiful clean picture. It lets those stitches sit directly on top of each other, and it really allows you to use a graph to make a really pretty pattern. Tapestry single crochet works really well with baskets, with bags, anything that you can continuously work in continuous rounds. So now with the basket finished, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I really love using rope. And for this project, I decided to make this twisted rope handle. To make this handle, we are going to be working through the 2nd and the 3rd rows from the top. I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I need to be, use my hook to push from the inside out of the basket, and then use that hook to pull a piece of rope through the basket. And you can really use any size rope as long as it's not too thick to fit through the stitches. That's part of the reason I did a twisted handle, was because my rope was thinner than I wanted it to be, and this was a nice way to thicken it up. So then go directly under the stitch that we just used, and I'm going to pull a second piece of rope through the basket. Take those pieces of rope and tie them together. This is also going to keep your rope from pulling through the basket. If you were just doing one piece of rope, it could have possibly pulled through the stitches if you were carrying anything too heavy. So now I'm going to take these two pieces and I'm just going to lightly twist them together. Be careful about twisting them too much because they will kind of twist up on each other. So you just want to kind of experiment with how many twists you have. You want it lightly twisted together so that it's going to drape neatly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to count 10 stitches over for the smaller basket. Take one piece of the rope, find a stitch in that second row from the top, and pull the piece of rope through. It's a little tough, but that's okay. As I said, it's going to really keep that handle in place. Take your other piece, go into the stitch directly under it, and pull that through the basket as well. And then now I just kind of lay out my handle, try to figure out exactly how long I want it to be. And then adjust my twist. You may have to pull one piece of rope out and retwist it a little bit if you're not happy with how the twist looks. But once you get it all the way you want it, you can just go ahead and knot the other side of the rope. And then you'll just trim your ends, weave in all your ends from the basket, and your basket will be done. So I hope you liked the tutorial, and if you love this basket, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. Make sure you are watching what I'm coming out with, because I have 2 more dinosaur baskets that I'm making.